Hello, this is Nancy with Phoenix Hearted Woman, and we're out here today at Colony Farms, which is a community garden on Kwikwetlem land. It's a beautiful spot on a beautiful day, and while we still have a few warm days, I'm going to be filming out here. If you remember from our recognized retreat, we did a Hatha Flow class toward just past the halfway mark in the retreat, and that's what I'm going to be doing here today. So please join me. So I brought just a towel out here. I mean, it's nice if you have a mat, but it's not necessary. And so we're gonna get started. Get like a pretty nice, stable stance here. If you remember, this is where we had just finished filling out what we wanted to release before we came into winter. So let's start from a position of strength. And we're just going to start with the breath. If you remember in our first breathing exercise, we did what I like to call blooming breath. So as we inhale, we give ourselves a nice big hug. Exhale, elbows lift, open out. Inhale to draw in, maybe you switch arms. Inhale, lift the elbows, open out, press the pelvis forward. Maybe just get a little bit of a back bend. Inhale to draw in. Follow the breath out into the world. Inhale, pulling in. And exhale, reaching out. So once you feel like you've connected in with these breath cycles, we'll go ahead and release the arms and start moving the body a little bit more. We could keep our feet nice and wide, or we can bring them hip width apart. Let's just coordinate the breath. Inhale to rise. Exhale, reach out and down. Take up space if you have it. Inhale to lift up and out. Feel the lift from your feet all the way out the fingertips. Exhale, lower down. Inhale to rise on up. Exhale. Okay, this time as we rise on up, as we exhale, we're just going to sweep the arms down. Inhale to rise up, and whoosh. And there's where my swish just disconnected my microphone. So here we are with voiceover, just for the next few minutes as we swoosh. Just every inhale we bring our arms up, and every exhale we freely flow into our swishes, bending the knees if we like, reaching way up, get a bit of a back bend, swish the other way. Just let yourself go. Let yourself get into it. However your body wants to move. And we'll start moving into side bends next. So let's reach on up for our last swish. And then we're going to flow off to one side. It doesn't matter which side. Again, the inhale is going to bring us up to the middle. That's our rest space. But the side bending, just give yourself a little bit of freedom here. Let the arms move freely. Let's keep the core a bit engaged, just so we can protect our lower back. Just let your breath dictate the movement. Okay, for our next stage, we're just gonna let things flow. Okay? So there's no end point, no beginning point. Just let yourself move. Move your feet, move your arms, move your body. Connect with a sense of play. This is your time to just play in your body. When was the last time you did that? Just let it all go. Let the monkey mind's gonna go, this isn't yoga. This isn't serious stuff. We need to be doing serious stuff here. But we know we are giving ourselves full permission to take our play seriously. Play is serious business. If you watch a child develop, play is absolutely essential, and we don't lose the need for it as we get older. We just lose our habit. So let's tap into that playfulness. Let's have fun being ourselves, being in our bodies. Yes, there's little cricks and little pains and little limitations. But find where you can move and just enjoy. It's so wonderful. Get serious about letting go. Get serious about your own freedom. And let's come around, coming back to a standing pose. And our first strong standing pose is nothing too complex. It's a mountain. It seems simple enough. Hey, aren't we just standing here? But actually there's quite a bit going on. So first let's find our feet. We can either have the bones of the big toes together, or we can separate our feet to more like hip width apart. We're going to be sinking into our feet with our exhales, because we have to go down before we go up. Roots before branches, as they say. And so once you find your feet, find all four corners. You want the inner ankle, the outer ankle, the ball of the big toe, and the ball of the pinky toe. So find that stability. Breathe into that stability. And it's from there that we're going to feel a rise of energy up our legs, just like a tree. Coming up to our core, we're going to need to hold on to our core to keep our pelvis nice and straight. Okay, lift up through the lower abs so we can drop the tailbone. And we're going to open our chest. And now usually when we open our chest, we tend to pop out our ribs like this. And we're going to find those lower ribs and we're going to contain them. We're going to bring them right over the hip bones. Keep a nice strong containment through the core. But while we're holding that, we still want to make sure our shoulder blades are supporting the chest. So feel the shoulder blades as if they were hands supporting the chest, drawing gently together. And then we'll bring our palms to face forward. Check in with the chin. If it's jutting out, we're going to draw it in and grow up long through the back of our head. And let's feel the strength in the pose. The monkey mind's going to be like, hey, let's get to something good. Let's get to something good here. But this is something good. Let's find the something good right here, right now. Something I like to think about in a mountain pose is how you become a bridge between the earth and the sky. How everything above and everything below comes right into the intersection of your being. You breathe your roots into the earth. You lift your branches to the sky. And all of it accumulates right within our very being. Let's check in with the chin, making sure we're not jutting it out to the sky, so we can lengthen through the back of the neck. And in this strong, steady pose, we exhale into our feet. We grow long with our inhales. We become this amazing bridge between that which is above and that which is below. And so now let's work our way to some of the other standing poses by inhaling the arms up overhead. And exhale, come down through the center, spilling out of the hips. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale to fold. Plant the hands. Step back with both feet. Come into your plank or knees plank. And we're going to bend the elbows backwards to come into our push-up. If you remember from our first set, inhale up into cobra or up dog if it's available. Again, we want to bring the shoulder blades together behind the chest. And then on an exhale, we come back to down dog. Okay, we're going to inhale our right leg up. We're not going to stack this time. That's the stacking. We're going to bring our hips in line. Okay, nice and straight. Try to lift up through the inner ball of the foot, and then as we exhale, we'll bring in the knee into the chest. Okay. Inhale, let's extend it up. And exhale, shoulders come over wrists. We bring the knee in toward the chest. Firing up through the core. And then let's place that foot to the front of the mat. Lower down on our back knee. We're coming into Anjaneyasana. That's our low lunge. Let's check in then with that front knee, making sure it's tracking over the ankle and not coming past it. I'm going to try to draw the left hip forward. And if we're not feeling any stretch in the left hip, then we're going to scoot the left knee back a little bit. We're going to pull our upper body away from the front thigh. Lift the lower abs. Get some space through the sacrum. And then if we're feeling it, we can inhale our arms up, sparkling out through the hands. Okay. And as we inhale, we lift through the fingers. As we exhale, we sink through the hips. Okay, we're going to interlace the fingers. Thumbs point down. We're going to lean into our palms, elbows wide. We're going to have our thumbs find the little bones under our ears at the base of the skull. Okay? And from those bones, we're just going to kind of find a lift. So we lengthen through the neck as we lean back into the hands. So we're getting some space in the cervical spine as well. And just like with our earlier poses, the inhale allows a sense of lifting and rising up through the chest, and every exhale is a sinking into the foundation, finding the strength and stability, and then the exhale finding the expansion and the lightness. If you notice here your breath starts to get a little shored up or a little ragged, you can always take a step back by settling the hands on the thigh. Choosing whatever pose is going to allow you to continue a smooth, intentional breath, while at the same time providing a sense of sensation, a sense of opening, a sense of power awakening in your body. Now we're about to move into lizard from here, and this is about the place where I swipe my mic again and my voice comes back. So we're bringing the hands on to the inside of the knee. We're lengthening our spine out of the hips, getting a nice long spine rather than rounded. And I'll let Nancy of the video take over from here. And we're going to settle our elbows. And now if you have blocks, you can rest your elbows on blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can roll up a towel or get a couch cushion and maybe rest your elbows there, or we can just be right here. It's a deep hip stretch, so breathe yourself right into those spaces. Notice what the monkey mind is saying. And like we talked about before, the internal critic is very tricky. And it will be the same voice that pushes you too far as the one that doesn't push you far enough. So if your monkey mind is going, oh, we can go deeper than this, we can handle it, and is like fighting into a position, that's a little bit on the severe side. And if your monkey mind is kind of moved into a whining territory, like, oh, when are we coming out of this pose? That's not really where we want to settle our mind either. So let's see if we can settle into the kind of the Tao of our bodies, the Tao of our breath, the Tao of our mind. Exhale here. And let's come up onto our hands. Let's bring the right hand to the outside again, tuck the back toe. Step the right foot back to meet the left. We can hang out in downward dog like this, or if you want to take a vinyasa to get there first, so we'll lower down in our push-up. We'll inhale into our back bend, either cobra or up dog. Exhale back to down dog. And once we're ready, we'll inhale the left leg up. And now we don't want to have a stacked hips. We want to bring both hips in line. And on our next exhale, We're going to bring that knee into the chest. We'll take an extra breath here, firing up through our core. We have the strength. We got this. And as we exhale, step forward. Make sure bringing the foot up to the front of the mat. Lower down on the back knee. Release the foot. And crawl up onto our thigh. Start lifting our chest away from the thigh, lifting even our core away from the thigh. Okay, once we have that established with our knee tracking over our ankle, our hips more or less square, maybe on our next inhale we can reach up with our hands, sparkle out through the fingertips. Maybe look up. Every inhale there's a feeling of lightness through the fingertips. Every exhale a sense of sinking into the foundation. And maybe we interlace the fingers. Maybe we interlace the other finger in front this time. That'll feel really awkward. Cradle the back of the head. Lean into the hands. Keep the elbows wide. Maybe give a little pull up and out of the shoulders. Finish your next exhale. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to reach forward and down. We're going to come to the inside of the left leg, keeping that knee over the ankle. Don't want to wing it out. We'll keep it down over the ankle. And we'll come down onto our elbows. Follow the breath into every area of sensation. Most likely we're in the hip. You're most likely feeling a lot of this on the front inner groin area, but you might be feeling something down in the hip flexor on the right leg too. Wherever you're feeling a sensation, go inhabit it. We tend to recoil from discomfort, and that kind of hinders us from actually experiencing what we're experiencing. So let's be completely in our bodies, completely in the moment, completely in every sensation that's arising. Exhale everything. And we'll begin the journey back up. We'll frame that front foot, tuck the back toes, step back into down dog, or take a vinyasa from plank, lower down on the exhale. Inhale to press the chest forward and up. Exhale to down dog. Okay, let's lower down our knees, mat width apart, toes together, settle the sit bones on the heels. And we'll just rest the head for a moment. Melt the upper body between the legs. Send the breath. See if you could inflate your back ribs with your breath. So we're all in downward dog. So let's exhale everything. Look to the hands. We're going to walk to the front of the mat. And we're just going to come into a forward fold. Maybe we take opposite hands to opposite elbows. Maybe we sway from side to side. We're not down here. If we find ourselves way up here, let's rest our elbows on our knees. Bend the knees, rest the elbows, and just try to release the head, release the shoulders. Try to bring some space out of the hips into the spine. Someday we'll all be here, right? We can release our necks. But until that day, let's work with what we got. Exhale everything. Even if you're here, release the arms. Tuck the tailbone, draw the navel in. Let it help bring the spine up to the top. And here we are. Let's take a moment, find our mountain again, our strength, our grounded, strong pose of the mountain. And let's inhale to rise. Exhale to bow forward, keeping a long spine. Inhale to press into the shins to peek at the horizon. Exhale to fold over the legs. Let's plant the hands. We're going to step back with the left foot this time. And we're going to stay up high. Okay. There is an option to drop the knee, but if you're feeling pretty good, feeling pretty energetic here, keep the back leg nice and straight. We'll reach back with our hands. Okay. Inhale here. And exhale. Our next inhale, we're going to sweep the arms forward. We're going to come out into kind of a superhero. So we're trying to get a line from our back leg all the way out our fingertips. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. We're coming into an angle with our body. Exhale. Feel the power in that front leg. Inhale, let's come all the way up. We can sparkle out through our hands. Sink the hips. We can stay right here in stillness, breathing, finding that tide of breath. Or on our next exhale, we can kiss the knee to the ground and inhale to rise. Slow motion, exhale, gentle touch, inhale, press it up. Okay, this last one, we exhale. Let's try to keep our hips this low as we straighten that back leg again. Ooh, lovely, lovely. Inhale, exhale, hands to the ground. Step it forward. Release over the legs. Okay, let's find our hands to the ground again. Step back with the right leg. Come into a nice big lunge here. Again, this can be all done on the lowered on the back knee. Okay, let's find our crescent lunge. We can settle let's settle our shoulder and our left ribs on the thigh as we reach back. Okay, our next inhale, let's come up into superhero. Exhale. Inhale to rise, arms by the ears. Exhale to lower down. Get a little break, rest on our thigh. Inhale, let's come all the way up. Find our crescent lunge. Again, let's bring our right hip's going to want to come a little bit forward because we don't want to open it out. We want to keep things nice and level. Reach straight up out of the hips. Option to stay in this nice, peaceful power pose. Or we can flow with the breath. Exhale, let the knee touch. Inhale to rise. Exhale, a gentle touch. Inhale to lift. Exhale, gentle touch. Inhale to lift. Oh, let's lower down on the next exhale. Send the foot back. We can come into down dog or take a vinyasa, plank. Exhale, lower down. Elbows close to the ribs. Inhale, press the heart open and up. Exhale to down dog. And now let's bring our knees the width of the mat, toes come together, sit bones on the heels. If you want a blanket to support, if that's too much on the knees, then between the heels and the sit bones. Walk the hands out, melt the heart into the earth. We take these little breaks so we can come back to ourselves, because some of the more strenuous poses, it gets us all stimulated. And by taking these little child's pose breaks, we can come back to that little sanctuary of ourselves. Reconnect with the inner sage. And let the inner critic fade into the background. And as we're ready, we'll extend the arms, coming up to hands and knees. Tuck the toes, come back into our down dog. Let's inhale the right leg up. And exhale, bring it through the hands. Now this time we're going to pivot on the back foot so we lower the heel to the earth. The toes are going to be pointing just at a little 30-degree angle. Let's reach back with our hands just like we did on our lunge. Our next inhale, we're going to come all the way up into warrior. But first we're going to straighten that front leg, because warrior one's a little bit tricky to try to get the hips nice and square. Okay? So let's bring our palms together. Let's bring our thumbs to the back of our neck. And now let's lean back. We're gonna find the weight in the back foot. We need that back foot, that's our rudder, to help sail our Viking boat across the sea. Bend into the front leg. Reach up with the hands. Maybe we interlace the fingers and our index finger points to the sky like a mighty sword. Maybe we can look up at the thumb knuckles, our chin. We kind of want our chin to point to our thumb knuckles. And breathe into this pose. Inhale here. Exhale, we bring the hands around behind, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Get a little bit of a back bend. Keep that front knee bent as we come into our humble warrior. We settle the right shoulder onto the right knee, release the head. Maybe the hands come up toward the sky and even aiming for the front of the room. Don't forget our breath. Our next exhale, settle the hands to the sacrum, lower the hands to the ground, pivot on the back foot, send the right foot back to meet it, go to down dog, or like we did before, take our push-up, come into up dog or cobra, exhale to down dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, send it through the hands. Pivot on the back foot, so we're at about a 30-degree angle. Square the hips before we even come up. Reaching back with our hands. Our next inhale, let's rise all the way up, straighten the front leg, palms come together. Thumbs touch the top of the bottom of the neck. And we're gonna lean back so we get some weight into that back foot, particularly the outer portion of the heel. And then we're gonna straighten the arms up, straighten the spine, bend into the front knee. Again, interlace the fingers, our sword to the sky. We can look straight ahead with our arms by our ears, or we can look up and point our chin to the knuckles. Warrior One, also known as Virabhadrasana 1. Feel the power through the legs. Feel the lightness rising up through the core. Inhale here. Exhale, hands come around behind the back, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades, open the heart, lead with the heart as we bow forward. Left shoulder to left knee, release the head, finger knuckles reach to the sky. No, this is not a pose we see every day. It's not something we put our bodies into every day. See if we can breathe ourselves through the natterings of the monkey and settle into the sage. Inhale. Exhale, release the arms to the earth. Setting the left foot back. We could take a vinyasa. Remember, we can always do this on our knees. We're still going to bring our elbows into the ribs because of the tricep push-up. We can come into cobra with our hips on the ground. And exhale to down dog. And this time when we come into child, let's bring our knees together, heels together, sit bones on the heels or on a blanket between our heels and our sit bones. Let's keep our arms alongside the body so we can melt the shoulders into the earth. Breathe into the lower back. Feed the inner sage with each and every inhale. Exhale everything. And as we inhale, let's curl on up to standing, on up to sitting. Head comes up last. Bring our hands, tuck the toes. We go from downward dog and then walk ourselves forward to the front of the mat. Roll ourselves up to standing. Keep the shoulders heavy, keep the head heavy till everything's stacked up. And we're up. Okay, if you remember correctly, this is the portion where we found our own power pose, because we just did a lot of power poses, a lot of strong standing poses. Our warrior, earlier in the day we did our warrior 2, we had our crescent lunge, we had our mountain pose. You could even mountain pose here. So now let's see if you want to come into the same power pose that you did at our retreat, or if you think you found a new one, or if your body wants to express itself in a different way. Find what it's like, how are you, when you stand in your strength, when you stand in fully in who you are, how do you want to stand right here and now? Okay? So just kind of play around with it, just like we did when we were kind of free-flowing earlier in this session. Find your power. Take up lots of space, or do we want to just be solid, connected to the earth? Do we lift our arms in victory, or are we just solid and grounded? Are we goddessing? What's our body want right now? You are powerful, you are radiant, you are exactly what you need to be right here, right now. So be that. What does that look like? And then when you do find that pose, when you're feeling strong and stable in who you are, then we identify that little part that doesn't serve us anymore. Maybe it's a habit, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a way of thinking that we're like, why do I always fall into that pattern of thought? Whatever it is, here in this pose right now, with your body alive, all the little muscles have been awakened, all the tissues, the little web of fascia throughout your body is alive and alert, standing at attention. What are we going to release? What are we strong enough to just release into the winter, so that we can focus on the fires that really need kindling. Let your leaves go. This is a period of the year where the phoenix goes into flames, goes down into the ashes, still but consuming itself. So consuming what it doesn't need anymore. So what is being consumed in the fires? Let it happen. And when you're ready to come out, let's all come up to the top of the mat. Let our limbs go, release, release, release our muscles now. And we'll work our way down. We'll come back to earth, ground the intention, ground all that fire and power so that we have it accessible when we're off the mat. So let's inhale to rise. Let's interlace the fingers, reach up to the sky, come onto the toes. And now as we exhale, knees coming forward, squat, what works for you. And then we're going to release onto the ground. We're going to come right onto our backs. And let's, once we get down here, let's bring the knees on into the chest. Let's keep hold of the right knee and extend through the left. Squeeze. We'll take the right arm out at the shoulder. We're going to take the left hand to the outside of the knee, and we're going to roll all the way onto the left hip. Okay, we're going to try to keep the right shoulder rooted. Now, what are we going to do with this left hand? We can either prop up the knee. If we have a bolster or a blanket or a pillow, we can rest the knee on the pillow. Or we can use our hand as weight if we feel like we want to If we have some space to move into through the spine, twists are so great. We're countering a lot of what gravity does. So our breath becomes the decompression for our spine in this pose. Inhale. And exhale back. Let's bring the knee back into the chest. We'll have the left meet it. Just rock a little bit from side to side. And keep hold of the left knee, extend through the right. Let's check in with our shoulders, our throat, our neck. Release, release, release. Any tension that you might be holding on to. Then we're going to take the left arm out at the shoulder. We're going to bring the knee across. So we're rolling right onto the outside of the right hip. We're using our right hand as a prop or as a weight. Maybe we look back over the left shoulder. Then we breathe all the way down into our sit bones. And as we exhale, we get heavier, heavier, heavier into the earth. Inhale. And exhale back to center. Let's bring the right up to meet the left. Sway from side to side. Just let the knees be loose as we rock back and forth across the sacrum. Then we come back into the center. Keep the knees nice and wide. We're going to lift the feet to the sky. We'll come into happy baby. So we reach between the legs. Maybe we take hold of the ankles. And what we're doing is we're just guiding the knees in toward the armpits. The thighs stay kind of close to the ribs. Maybe if we have the freedom, we can grab to the outer blades of the feet or settle our hands in the arches. Wherever you grab, just make sure that the head melts back, the shoulders release into the earth. And we'll find the tailbone lifting, but we're going to have the intention of pulling it back toward the earth. Oh, see how that deepens the stretch into the hips. Close the eyes. Come out of the head and just be your whole body with all its little quirks, its old injuries, its tensions, its adventures, its joys, its pains, just all those petals of our being. And we can best enjoy them when we're settled in the center. Our source of energy, our source of compassion, our source of knowing. Inhale. And exhale, let's bring those knees into the chest one more time. Squeeze them in, hug them tight, hold them together, and we're going to resist with the knees. So we're going to try to separate the knees, but our arms are going to keep them together. It's just kind of a counter stretch to the happy baby pose. Inhale here. And exhale, release. Just come into any kind of shavasana you'd like. Maybe you have a bolster under your legs. Maybe you can go up against a wall and bring your legs up the wall. Maybe you put the soles of the feet together and come into Supta Baddha Konasana. And just take at least 6 rounds of breath. Soften through the face, soften through the shoulders. Maybe for these last 3, just let that sigh cue your body, cue the brain to just relinquish. Relinquish control. Relinquish the hold. And then just let the breath be soft. Like you're breathing in sky. You're welcoming sky into your lungs, into your body. and letting it go again. When you're ready to come out, we'll take a nice full body stretch. And we'll curl ourselves over onto our left side, just gather ourselves into a couple breaths before we come back to life. And that roll to the side, disconnected my mic again, so here I am with voiceover. So find your way to Sukhasana. Settle in, check in with your body, check in with your mind. Let the journey you just took integrate itself into your being. Sit here for as long as you like, and when you're ready to depart, bring the hands to heart center. Connect with a sense of gratitude for your practice, for your breath, for your energy, for your beautiful strength. So the idea is to take the little ritual that we performed in our practice and take it out into the world where it can really shine. If you want to see the next video, that would be Yen, and that's up in queue. Otherwise, if you're done, have a beautiful day. Namaste.